Welcome to another lawnfawn video. Today we are introducing our new stamp set, Swan Soiree, and its coordinating dies. We're also going to be making 3 cards from start to finish. So let's go ahead and check it out. This set has 2 swans in it that are facing each other. And it also has 3 little baby swans in 3 different positions that are so cute, facing in different directions. Then it has these great things that help you build the scene. So we have these cattails and grasses that you can mix and match, a lily pad, and of course a cute little lotus flower. We have a moon so you can do a night scene, and of course a star to go along with that moon in both solid and open. We have a flower crown for our swans to wear, and of course a normal crown too. We've got a really cute heart that looks great in between the 2 swans, and of course a heart in solid as well. I love this pond so much. It's so great for helping set the scene. And then we have these great sentiments that you can mix and match. So we have I just swan to say thanks, or I just swan to say have a happy Mother's Day is something that you can do, or just plain day. You can also do life is, and then we've got this beautiful sentiment, which is really beautiful. So life is beautiful with you, and I just love that script so much. We also have a mom, so this is so great for Mother's Day cards. And then this welcome little one, which makes it great for baby cards as well. We have a little phrase that says congrats and wishing you a lifetime of happiness, making it awesome for anniversary cards too. We have an ellipses and an exclamation point. And here is a look at how to mix and match these sentiments in cool and different ways. So you can do them really cool, how they're kind of stacked there or long, depending on how you mix and match them. I love the mom, have a happy Mother's Day, or I just want to say thanks, Mom. You can mix and match it and do the coolest things, and I can't wait to see what you guys are going to do. Here I'm using my Copic markers to add some color to these swans, and my favorite thing to do is use some warm grades to add a little bit of detail. The one on the left has a little bit of extra detail, and the one on the right was really easy where I just colored right inside the lines, just following the lines of the stamp. The one on the left, I did some extra little lines there coming in from the wing, and it gives it a little extra detail. Both look beautiful, just kind of depends on how much time you have to play around with it. There you can see in those cute little ducklings, we did them in different ways, and in the one in the middle, I did tiny little dots by just touching my marker really lightly to the paper, and that gives them a lot of cute little kind of texture, which I think is really adorable. Or you can color them in like we did the other guys by just kind of outlining the inner part of the stamped line image. We're adding some really pretty pink there to those flowers and hearts. And then I really like these G07, G02. I don't usually use these colors, but I think it looks really, really pretty and kind of adds to that kind of nighttime effect that you can do with this set by making it a darker green with kind of a little bluey tint to it. There you can see we've colored in the moon and the crown, and of course those cute little cattails as well. This set is awesome because it's really, really easy to color, which means that you can make quick cards with this really, really easily. Now these are the coordinating dies, which you can bend apart at the tabs or use your wire snips to separate. We're going to take that die and line it up with the stamped image, hold it in place with some low tack tape, run it through the die cut machine, and now we'll have some beautifully cut out images, and that swan is just the cutest thing ever. And here is a look at all of the images from this set. So you've got these cute swans that you can mix and match. Just use the little ones, just use the big ones, or mix and match them together. Create daytime scenes or nighttime scenes. And you can see here that we're just going to kind of layer those little guys onto the pond with a heart. Makes it more of kind of an anniversary love kind of card. We've got our cute little lily pad and lotus there. And we've got our little cattails and grasses around the pond. Or you can mix and match these to make more like a family card or a Mother's Day card or a baby card with the little duck and the big duck. Now the brand new kiddie pool ink is the perfect ink for this pond. So I went ahead and stamped it out into that kiddie pool ink and then took all of those images there, and we're going to start to recreate a gorgeous card by Elise. We're going to start off by die cutting some white cardstock with the largest outside-in stitched rectangle. Then we're going to be taking some Ballet Slippers ink, which is such a beautiful light pink color, and a blender brush, and we're going to add some color to this card. We'll do this by picking up a little bit of ink from the ink pad and then starting really, really light in circular motions in the kind of center top third of the card and kind of going out from that circle. So we're going to have it darker in the center and lighter on the outside. And so to do this, you kind of just build it up slowly and slowly until it gets to be that perfect color of pink. So here it's starting to get there, starting to look there. You can see me, I'm kind of stopping, going, oh, do I do just a little bit more? I'm putting that pond on there to make sure that the pink goes on the outside edges of the pond. And now that ink is just perfect, and we're going to lay that pond right onto that pink area that we colored. Then we've added foam squares to the back of all of those images that we colored earlier, and we're going to layer these onto the pond to create a card. And you can see just how quickly a scene comes together with this cute set. So we're going to layer those cute little hearts into the sky and our ducklings there, and of course a flower crown for our cute little swan. I'm using an anti-static powder tool to add to my black cardstock so that I can stamp in some clear embossing ink and add some white heat embossing powder. And now that heat embossing powder is only going to stick to my sticky ink and not to the cardstock. So we'll sprinkle that on and tap off any of the excess and heat it up. And then we're just going to trim out these phrases. So I'm going to use a combination of a paper trimmer and scissors just to cut these apart so they kind of look like those old little Dymo labels. Then to fill out the sentiment, we're going to do a little trick that Elise loves to do, and that's taking a phrase from a stamp set and substituting one of the words with die-cut letters instead of stamping. So we're going to take all of our stitched ABCs and we're going to die-cut the word swan. It's going to be such a cool, bold look. So we're going to die-cut the swan letters out of white cardstock twice, and then we're going to die-cut them out of some of that beautiful pink shimmer cardstock from the pastel set that is so pretty. And the reason we've die-cut these 3 times is we're going to create a little height and a little dimension by stacking these together. So we'll stack the white ones there for the height, and then the pink is going to be the decoration on top. And it's going to help it just stand out, and there's something about it that just makes it look really, really professional and cool when you stack a bunch of these. And I find it really relaxing to glue these together for some reason, and it's super fun to watch in fast motion too. So once we have all of those letters glued on top of each other, we can start to fill out our phrase. And I like to lay everything onto the card first and then kind of decide where my little black pieces are going to go, and then we can glue the swan letters on there afterwards. Once that's all done, we can add some tape runner to the back of the whole scene and layer it onto a standard size card base at 5.5 by 4.25, and I love the look of the white stitch rectangle on a white card base. Now, the really cool thing about this design is you could stamp just about anything on the inside of this card. So what I would love to do is make a few of these, not stamp the inside just yet, and just wait until maybe I need a birthday card or a Mother's Day card or a baby card, etc. And you could stamp any of those cute little phrases inside. Now, I wanted to make a pop-up card, so we're going to do something a little bit different, and we're going to be using the pop-up hello, which we've die cut out of that same shimmery pink cardstock that we did the swan letters out of. I'm also cutting down some 1-inch high tall strips of some of this blue shimmer cardstock, which almost matches that kiddie pool ink. It's really similar in color because I wanted to echo the colors from the outside to the inside. So we're going to layer those right into the center of the card. And the reason for that is I want that blue to pop through those letters. Now to fold the pop-up hello banner, you fold along those outside score lines first, and then along the bottom of the letters, and then the top of the letters. And after you do that, you can kind of start to fiddle with it and keep moving it until it completely folds forward. And if you haven't seen the intro video to the pop-up hello, make sure to check it out. We'll link it in the description below. To make the pop-up hello fit in our portrait-sized card, we're going to trim off 5/8 of an inch of either side. So I'm just lining that up in my paper trimmer, and I can just trim those right off, and that's going to make it the perfect size to fit in this tall portrait card. And now you can already start to see how pretty it's going to be with that blue shining through to the pink. So we're going to add some tape runner just along the outside edges of this piece so that the middle part, of course, will still pop up. And then we can layer that right into the inside fold of the card. I always like to glue down the bottom first, and then I start to kind of guide and fold the top part down. And then you can go ahead and close your card shut, and that's going to tape it into the perfect position. I love how cute and easy this is, and it's such a cool surprise for the recipient as well. Now, to bring in a little bit more of what's going on the outside to the inside, I die cut some of the letters out of Oliver's stitched ABCs, which are a perfect fit for this pop-up hello, and went ahead and die cut that out of some of the white shimmer cardstock. So everything is really shimmery and pretty, and we're going to layer those white letters on top just to make them stand out even more. The other thing we're going to do to kind of help bring this in from inside to outside is we're going to take some stamped images from the Swan Soiree set, so some cattails and swans, and we're going to put those on the inside just to add a little pizzazz. It was really cute without these things, but man, when you add the little cattails and swans, it looks adorable. So we're going to put the cattails on either side and then the swans just right on top. And I think it's such a cute look, and I just love how it easily kind of ties the whole thing in together. And here is a look at the finished card. When you open it up, you get that awesome three-dimensional pop-up hello, which I think is so cute. The pop-up happy birthday would look really cute with the swan card too. Or you could just even plain just stamp your sentiment on the inside. But I had so much fun playing around with this pop-up and kind of bringing those colors from the outside to the inside. And I really love the look of that pink behind there. You could also take this card design and do it with a bunch of different color palettes, like a purple or a yellow would look amazing with this. Next, we're going to be recreating a gorgeous card by Elena, and we have a standard size card base here at 5.5 by 4.25, and the largest stitched rectangle we've die cut out of the kraft cardstock, and we're going to layer that right onto the card base. Then we're going to take the largest of the small stitch rectangles, which is kind of the next one that fits in size here, and we're going to die cut some of this beautiful shimmer cardstock. Now I wanted to show you something kind of cool. It's got shimmer and texture on the front, but on the back, it's plain, no shimmer, no texture. So depending on what you're looking for in your card, you could use either side. In this case, I didn't want the shimmer in the texture because I wanted it to blend in with my other cardstocks. But that color was the perfect match for fitting in between my Moonstone and Mermaid. So you can see here as I fit that in, how beautiful are these three together. So all of a sudden I've taken that shimmer cardstock and given it a totally different look by using the back side of it. We've also die cut that largest of the small stitch rectangles set out of some white cardstock, and we're going to layer that white cardstock piece right onto that kraft cardstock, and I love the look of that double stitching. After that, we're going to start creating some kind of pond layers here with our stitched hillside borders with these stitched rectangles. And by cutting them from the stitched rectangle and then the stitched border, we're going to have the stitching all the way around, which is really, really pretty. So we've got our first one here, and I'm kind of using it as a guide as to where my next one should go. We'll tape that down, run it through the die cut machine, and now we have our next layer of our pond. And then for the last one, we're going to be using a simple stitched hillside border just for a little bit of a different look, and that's going to be on that Moonstone cardstock. We'll go ahead and stamp the phrase Happy Mother's Day on this in some black licorice ink right onto that Moonstone kind of smaller piece. And then we're going to be taking the Ocean Wave Accents dies. And I love these little dies because it just adds the most subtle little texture. And we're going to be die cutting these waves into these different little kind of hills that are going to be our ponds. So you'll see there we've got that triple one. We're going to die cut out of the biggest piece of pond that we have. And then we're going to layer two of our different ones on the smaller piece. So the first thing we'll do is attach our tallest pond layer, and then from there we can go ahead and die cut our cool little ocean wave accents. I love that they work really, really well for the pond too, not just the ocean. And then we'll run that through the die cut machine. We'll layer that next piece on with tape runner, and then we're going to use some foam tape just for a little extra dimension onto the blue piece. It's also going to help us tuck some things behind it too. So now we've got a bunch of cute little swans and cattails. We have a ton of them. We added some little white gel pen accents, and we're also using some clouds from Butterfly Kisses. I just love those clouds, and they're perfect for this swan set. So now I'm going to start layering a bunch of the pieces onto the scene. So I'm starting from the top to the bottom, and I'm going to layer just some of the pieces on there. And once they're looking pretty good, we'll add some tape runner and foam tape to the pieces to kind of layer them, some in the background and some in the foreground. Then I'll start working my way down the card again. Again, kind of temporarily placing pieces. Once I like how it looks, we're going to add that tape runner and foam tape, and you can see just how cute this scene is. I love those pink flowers on the blue pond too. Now, to really help those little die cut accents stick out, we're going to use a white gel pen, and we're going to layer that right on top of the die cut. And doesn't that look just beautiful? Elena also took her white gel pen and she added these cool little lines underneath the tiny ducks there, the little swans, so you can see just how sweet they are with that. It looks like they're moving that water around and just kind of floating around over towards each other. And now the card is all done. I just adore this card. I love the pops of pink on the blue, and those white gel pen accents just make the whole thing so pretty. For the last card, we're going to be recreating a card by Tammy, and we're going to be doing a ton of ink blending. So we went ahead and cut a stitched rectangle here, and we're using some spun sugar and worn lipstick distress oxide inks to build up this really cool pink sky. So we're going to do our lightest color towards the bottom, and then our darkest color towards the top. And where those two meet, we're going to go back and forth with our blender brush to make sure that there's a nice seamless blend between them. For extra texture, we're going to take a spray bottle filled with clean water. We're going to spray that ink and then take a paper towel to pick up any of the excess, and you can see that it's adding this really cool texture. And I like to think of it almost like little fireflies are kind of glowing in the background in this kind of cool sunset-y scene that we're going to be creating. So once this is all done, to add even more texture, I really love how Tammy created these splatters. So we have our picked raspberry ink there. So we added a little bit of a darker pink. We're going to smear it on the craft mat, add a teeny bit of water, pick it up with a paintbrush, and just tap the paintbrush to get this really cool dots that are kind of a tone on tone. So now we have the water that's taken away color, and then these little dots that have added color. And the cool thing about the dots is they look really dark at the beginning, but then they kind of blend into the scene. Now here we've taken a plain circle die, and this is going to be our moon. So we're going to take some squeezed lemonade ink, and we're just going to ink it onto there. And I'm not being perfect with it because I kind of want it to look a little bit splotchy so that it looks like the moon and all of the detail of the moon. We're also going to take our clean water there, we're going to spray it and pick that up once again to get that really cool kind of moon glow. Our swans need a pond to hang out in, so we're going to take a simple stitched wavy border here and die cut some white cardstock and use broken china and tumbled glass ink to do the same kind of treatment. So we're going to be doing the lightest color towards the bottom and then the darkest color towards the top. We'll make sure to go back and forth between the two colors so that there's a nice blend between them. And then we're going to do the same thing again so that all of our pieces coordinate. We're going to take our clean water and spray that ink. And I just love seeing it react. I think it looks so pretty, and it's going to give our water a ton of movement. The last thing that our scene needs is some grass, so we cut it with the grassy border, and then we're going to be using 2 shades of green again here. So we've got our twisted citron and mowed lawn, and once again having the top be light and then a bottom's going to be dark. And you'll see there that I'm holding the piece down with just a piece of paper because my fingers had ink all over them, and I was worried about getting all the ink mixing together, which happens to me all the time. So I like using that little piece of cardstock there to just kind of help me. And then at the very end, I just hold it so that I'm able to get color all the way towards the top. So there you can see how cool that's looking, and we're going to do the same treatment that we did for the sky on this one. So we're going to of course spray our water just like we've done on all of the pieces, but we're also going to be doing some splatters too. So we're going to take that darker color, which is the mowed lawn, smear it on the craft mat, give a little spray of water, mix it together with our paintbrush, and then tap that paintbrush to create really cool splatters on there. You'll see I added a little bit more ink there because I had added a little bit too much water, so you can keep adding ink and water to get your perfect consistency. And now those little dots are going to echo the dots in the sky, and so I love that it kind of balances the top and the bottom of the card. And then here you can see all of those pieces. I let them dry overnight because I had realized I should have done something before I inked that grass, and I wanted to do a white heat emboss sentiment. So because I forgot and the grass looks just so pretty, I thought, you know what, I'm going to let it dry overnight, and then we're going to take this powder tool and we're going to put it all over this to make sure that there's no powder that's going to stick to anything but the sentiment. And then we're going to go ahead and stamp that sentiment in some clear embossing ink. And I'm doing Megan's technique of lightly tapping it to make sure I don't get any kind of smearing of my ink. Then we can sprinkle on that white heat embossing powder, and thank goodness it worked. So letting it dry overnight and adding a ton of that anti-static powder tool was perfect. Then we can go ahead and heat it up with the heat tool, and now we have this gorgeous sentiment. When I make this card again, I'm definitely going to stamp my sentiment first and then ink over it because the embossing will resist the ink and it'll look so beautiful. So I'm going to do that next time so that I'm not as stressed out when I start actually doing my stamping onto my grass piece. So we've added our pink sky to our card base, and now we're going to add our moon on there. So we're going to have a moon centered, and I was kind of using the water there to kind of see how high up do I want this moon to go. And I'm using my grid mat to kind of give me a little bit of a guideline. We're going to put our moon down, and then we're going to put our pond down on top of that. Then next, we're going to go ahead and take that grass and layer that on top. And you can see just how pretty it looks with all of that texture and then the splatters on the top and the bottom of the card. And then now we get to play with a ton of our little cattail pieces. We're going to tuck them behind the grass, put them in front of the grass, use different combinations of foam squares and tape runner to give a lot of cool dimension. Our little tiny swans, they're going to go on with foam squares, and our other guys are going to go on with tape runner, so it looks like they're kind of in the background. I just played around with a little bit of the scene, and I just think this is so pretty and so gorgeous. I had so much fun making it, and I wanted to show you guys a comparison to Tammy's card. So Tammy used seedless preserves on her card for a more purpley sky, which I thought was so pretty too. So I love that you could play around with different colors of the sky and just have a ton of inky fun. Next up, we have the most beautiful inspiration from the design team. And first up, we have a double slider surprise card by Megan. And her night scene is just gorgeous. I love the inking and the dark blue mixed with the yellow. It's beautiful. And look how cool the extended scene is with this interactive card. Just stunning. This card by Yanea blows me away. How beautiful is her watercolored moon? Oh my goodness, I absolutely adore it. And then here's that beautiful card by Tammy that inspired us to make our card today. And then this card here by Jessica, this one was in our intro to our stencils video. So make sure to check that video out to see how we created that really, really cool kind of mirror stamping effect. This is the card by Elise that inspired us to make the first card in the video today. And then this card by Nancy is so pretty. I love her awesome little banners there out of beautiful glittery cardstock. And then on the inside, it has have a beautiful birthday, which I think is just stunning. Here, Maureen blew me away with this beautiful magic picture changer, and as you pull, you get to see the other swan, and her night scene is just gorgeous, and I love all those flowers and lily pads in the pond below. And then this card by Kara is so pretty. I love that veil that she added to it, and the colors are just gorgeous. A perfect wedding card. And then here, Grace created a center picture window card, and these guys are a perfect size for these type of cards, and as you open it to the inside, it's a Happy Mother's Day scene in that blue to green sky. Oh my goodness. Here, Elise created the most beautiful nighttime scene with the Bayou backdrop die, and I absolutely adore the colors that she chose. And this is the card by Elena that inspired us to make our second card in the video today. And here Shari created a really cool little terrarium. I love this three-dimensional piece of art. And then this card by Shari uses the awesome stitched pond die. These guys are a perfect match for that die. And here I love how Jen used the I Just Want to Say, and then we've got the pop-up hello inside with those beautiful cattail borders on there. And this card by Elise is another stunner. I love those little hearts in the sky and the mix of stamped cattails and die-cut cattails. And here Audrey also used the Bayou backdrop, and once again, so beautiful with that inking. And Lynette's card, oh my goodness, I just love that yellow sky she used from the Hello Sunshine paper, just stunning. And this slider card by Jen is so much fun and so pretty with that shimmer cardstock. Nicole used the new jellyfish ink to do beautiful no-line coloring that is just incredible and looks so beautiful with these swans, straight out of a storybook. So I can't wait to see what you guys do with Swan Soiree, so make sure to share it with us. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!